And the next thing I know, this quiz is blowing up in terms of the amount of leads and opt-ins and, people answering, and it just like, wow, wildfire, spread like wildfire.
So you got
Totally
to share.
unexpected and great. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to share just some numbers. So spreading like wildfire. What are we talking? Like 30 people, 300 people.
Well,
like in total, how many people have taken all these quizzes? Hey, this is Ryan Levesque here, and I'm really excited for this interview here today. And I'm excited for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons why I'm really, really excited is the gentleman that I'm going to be introducing you to here today is someone who transitioned and started his online business that we're going to be talking about here today at an age when most people think it's too late to start. So if you've ever had that feeling like you've missed the opportunity, it's too late to do what you want to do, that this is for people who are younger than you at a different stage of their life or different stage of their career, I think what he's been able to do at his age in a very short amount of time with no prior experience doing all this as a complete novice is going to be really inspiring to you. So with that being said, I'm very excited to introduce our special guest of the hour, the one, the only, Mr. Marvin Leventhal. Marvin, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Now, before we get into your story, the big question everyone's going to be asking is, how young is this gentleman? So you got to tell us, my friend, what birthday did you most recently celebrate? How young are you, my friend?
Well, I am 61, and in 2 months I will be 62.
I love it. So you're at an age where I think a lot of people are starting to contemplate and think about sort of winding things down. They're thinking about retirement. They're thinking about, I've done what I'm doing, and it kind of gonna coast. And you have an incredible story because you've literally in a very short amount of time started something brand new online, no prior experience, getting some amazing results. And we're going to share what those results are in just a moment, and doing it through a quiz funnel. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the business. Let's talk about, what's the market, who do you serve, and what do you sell?
Well, right now I am focusing my expertise in helping course creators, coaches, and consultants achieve success by implementing technology that will allow them to transform what I call their content into cash using something that I learned from you, actually, do it with you and do it for you model.
Love it.
That's where we are concentrating all my efforts now.
And how'd you get into this? Like, what's the story? What were you doing in your prior career, your prior life? Maybe talk to us a little bit about that, about your background, and kind of what led you to go in this direction.
Well, I have been involved in technology all my life, especially video technology, and I moved from Colombia to the U.S. and my business had always been in Latin America. And eventually the business kind of fizzled and, wind down. And I was looking for new opportunities, got involved in some e-commerce business that didn't go anywhere. And then suddenly I stumbled into your quiz funnel workshop. And that definitely made an impact and changed the direction of where I was going.
I love it. So, just to kind of take a few steps back, successful career in technology, thought maybe I want to do something different, tried e-commerce, didn't kind of work out the way you were hoping it was going to work out, and certainly had planned for it to work out, stumbled upon this idea of a quiz funnel and the power that a quiz funnel might have in your business, and signed up for the quiz funnel training, went through the process, followed the steps, walked away with a quiz that we're going to take a look at here in just a moment. And before we take a look at that quiz, maybe you could share a little bit about the results. So literally ground zero, starting from scratch, brand new quiz, first time out of the gate, no experience whatsoever, just follow the process, follow the steps. Talk to us a little bit about the results from that quiz and really just the first few months of taking this thing live.
Well, there's two steps to this process. The first quiz that I launched had to do with that e-commerce business that I was trying to take off the ground, and it was a complete flop. And so I sat down and I said, well, this is not possible because quiz funnel technology is amazing. And I think people love this. So I have to be doing something that does not involve pain. I was doing artsy bags. And then aha moment said, you know what, art bags don't have any pain. You need to have something that you can cure, whatever your knowledge is. So I moved into this new iteration of a quiz. I started creating a quiz with my sister, who is a psychologist and runs, emotional support for women, created this quiz. And the next thing I know, this quiz is blowing up in terms of the amount of leads and opt-ins and, people answering. And it just like, wow, wildfire, spread like wildfire.
So you got to share.
Great.
Yeah, you got to share just some numbers. So spreading like wildfire, what are we talking? Like, 30 people, 300 people?
Well,
in total, how many people have taken all these quizzes?
The first few weeks, we were getting some really low amount of people opting in. And then I went through the marketing coaches and I tweaked the quiz, made some changes. And the next thing, it was going like 350 leads and opt-ins a day. And lo and behold, a few months later, what started as, very few things suddenly turned into like 40, 37, 38. Right now, I think it's close to 38,000 leads in the last couple of months. So it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I love how casually you throw that number out there. Like 38,000 people have taken the quiz in the last few months. You're so humble, my friend. That's huge. Like, literally starting from scratch, no experience. And I love what you shared about your story. And by the way, I'll pull up on my screen here. At the time of this screenshot, which is, the numbers are, obviously out of date the second you take the screenshot because you're getting 350 leads a day, almost 33,000 opt-ins through this process. So opt-ins, of course, being people who have signed up for your email list, email subscribers. For anybody who has tried to build an email list, they know the value in that email list is that you have an audience of people that you can now sell products and services to. Like, you don't have to wonder if I build it, will they come? No, you can reach out to that audience of people, ask them what they're struggling with, what their pain is, what their challenge is, and then based on their responses, you can give them exactly what they need, and it's virtually guaranteed to be successful. So in terms of cost per lead, which is another thing that I know a lot of people want about, maybe you could talk a little bit about what you're paying in terms of cost per lead for this list.
Right now, 16 cents a lead. That includes, the advertising on Facebook and actually the opt-in to become a lead, about 16 cents a lead. 16
cents a lead. That's incredible. And you're in a market where, typical cost per lead could be $2, $3, $4, $5 a lead, depending on what channel you're using and the strategy you're using to generate those leads. So 16 cents a lead is incredible. You did speak about something a moment ago that I want to come back to, and it's a lesson that I just want to unpack a little bit. And it's for anybody who's watching this right now, thinking about maybe using a quiz funnel or creating a quiz funnel for their business. And it's this idea that you want to solve for some type of pain. You want to identify the pain and solve for that type of pain. Maybe you could just speak a little bit more to that for just a moment.
Yes. As I said, I was doing something that I believe had no pain. And then I figured, wow, this is not the way to go. Everybody has solutions for all kinds of different situations, problems, experiences that people are having. And taking them through a quiz funnel is where you can actually find out really what is the pain that they are experiencing. And due to your knowledge, expertise, whatever it is you learned, or the way that you can actually provide a cure and solve that pain in a way that, satisfy whoever is the end user. So when I understood that, I figured, wow, this is a very powerful tool. And on top of that, I also understood that building a list is probably the most important things you can do, because everything else is not under your control. But when you build your list, and the bigger it is, the more opportunities you have, and that you control because you own it. It's yours. not somebody else's. So.
It's huge. It's the difference between building a business on rented land and land that you own. Tomorrow, Facebook could change the rules and decide, you know what, we're not going to, allow businesses to advertise on Facebook. Google tomorrow could change the rules. YouTube tomorrow could change the rules. But when you build an email list, this is a list that you can take with you wherever you go. And when you have this list of people, I like to say your list is the single most valuable asset in your business. Because if someone even said to me, they said, hey, Ryan, if you had to start over tomorrow, you could have nothing. You would start from scratch. No products. You'd have no team. You'd have none of these things. But you could pick one thing that you would take with you to start over. If I just had my list, that's it. I could send an email to that list of people tomorrow and be back up and running within minutes. I could literally send an email out tomorrow and I could be back up running in a very short amount of time, generating income, generating revenue by being able to ask that audience what they're struggling with and then creating a product or solution or finding a product or solution that solves that particular challenge. So I think there's so much wisdom in what you've shared.
I agree 100%. And wow, that's been a powerful realization.
So let's take a look. Everyone wants to know, let's take a look at this quiz. Now, I'll preface the quiz that we're going to look at here in just a moment. This is, it's not in English, so we're not going to go deep into the copy, but what I'd love for you to do, Marvin, as we go through this is to just kind of walk us through what we're looking at, talk about the premise behind the quiz, what we're trying to figure out, what we're trying to diagnose, and then what happens to folks after they take the quiz. What's the next step that we invite them to take? So let's take a look at the quiz on screen now.
Okay. So the quiz, I'm going to translate, but the quiz basically is what is your type of emotional profile? And it's geared towards women in the U.S. Hispanic market.
Okay.
It talks about, why some women, crumble under pressure emotionally, while some others actually, face their emotions with courage. That is my sister, who's a psychologist, neuroscientist, with a lot of accolades and all kinds of interesting, backgrounds. And at the end, we show, 3 different profiles, which I will reveal at the end. And then you can start the quiz. And at the end, if you opt in, you get a report that will give you a whole rundown of what your emotional profile is.
Beautiful. So if we were to click through this, I'll just go through it quickly. We won't look at each individual question, but people will get a sense of kind of, what we're asking here. So in my very limited Spanish, actually French, I can actually kind of decipher what we're looking at here. So this is about your color. So which color do you identify with, I believe, most?
It has a particular thing behind it. It was the way to ease in people into the quiz. And I would say that's the key to success, because we had a complicated 2-question answer and I changed it to a simple thing like, what's your color, green or yellow? And that made a whole difference in the world. So.
Yeah, it's a great lesson, and I'll share this for everyone watching this right now. It's what we call a grease the wheels question. So just like if you're having a conversation, you want to think about your quiz funnel as if you're having a conversation with someone that you've never met before. The first question that you want to ask someone, it can't be a big, hairy, scary question that scares them off. Like you meet someone for the first time at a cocktail party, at a networking event, or somewhere along the way. You're not going to ask them, so question number 1, tell me, what is your deepest, darkest secret? And tell me in painstaking detail. It's too much too soon. So we start with an easy to answer question that builds up action-taking momentum, like this one right here. And then you can see the questions start to kind of follow this rhythm, this cadence, in some ways increase in complexity. We've got this question right here, which I love, where we're asking, we're using the image capability of a quiz to help people identify. Images are a great strategy to use in quiz questions because you're engaging people in a different way, and it adds a novelty element, so people want to know, well, what's the next question I'm going to get asked? So they continue along this path. We ask a few more questions. And then, Marvin, from your memory, do you know roughly how many questions we're asking in the quiz?
I think we have about nine questions in total.
Perfect. And so, the sweet spot that I'm always liking to aim for is somewhere between 5 and 12 questions. So we want to ask enough information. We want to ask for enough information. We want to ask enough questions that we can learn enough about the individual taking the quiz so we can accurately diagnose their situation and prescribe the best next step. But at the same time, we don't want to ask 100 questions because this is a marketing quiz. This is not a medical diagnosis. This is a marketing quiz so that we can put people into one of several buckets and then customize, personalize the content and experience that we're delivering to people after they take this quiz. So we get here. Here's your result. Your result is NA. Enter your name and email to find out what this is all about. So I'll do that now. And then what happens next?
Well, next you get to the outcome where, first of all, you'll get a report straight into your email that explains, all the emotional profile type. And then you get an outcome video, and that's my sister explaining exactly in her own words, what's going on, what's your profile, and why are you that kind of profile, and explains how that affects your life and what you can do to improve it and make it better. Because this whole thing is all about learning how to manage your emotions, knowing well that you cannot control them, but you just need to manage them. So.
Yeah, I love this, and I just want to underscore, the power behind this, right? So, because in this case, your sister, she's the face of the business.
Yes.
You're kind of the behind the scenes guy. Number one, it's a great opportunity for anybody who wants to be the behind the scenes person. So you can find someone, whether it's a friend, a relative, a colleague, that if you don't have expertise in the market, there are experts all over the world that you can find to work with. And you can do it either by partnering up with them, you can pay them. There are all sorts of arrangements that you can make if you don't have the expertise yourself. I learned this early in my career. I went into the orchid care market. I knew nothing about really orchids, but I learned very quickly there are a lot of orchid experts in the world that are very excited about sharing their expertise. So I just mentioned that point right now. For anybody who says, I don't want to be on camera, I don't want to be on video, you don't have to be. You can be the behind the scenes person. Number two, by doing things the way that you've done it here, you're able to ask people a series of questions, really understand their situation, and then now your sister is able to offer a tremendous amount of value right up front. She's not giving people generic recommendations. She's really asking these thoughtful questions through the quiz, and then she's able to customize her video, in this case, to deliver value based on a person's unique situation and based on their emotional profile. And so what that does is it builds this instant relationship. People almost have this reaction where they say, oh my gosh, it's like you know what's going on inside of me better than even I can describe it myself. What's the next step? Where do I go from here? And it just sets you up beautifully to introduce that next offer, the thing that you're going to be selling people, excuse me, as far as the next step to take after they've gone through this process. So anything that you'd like to share on any of that we've just chatted about?
Well, what you said is, from this quiz, two things happened. First, we decided to create a Facebook group, which I had never done before. Mm-hmm. And from those opt-ins, from the 30,000 people that opted in, about 9,000 people joined the Facebook group. So suddenly we went from nothing to a Facebook group that had 9,000 members. And it was, oh my God, you needed to manage that craziness. And the second thing is, for me personally, it allowed me to, test at my sister's expense, I guess, if you want to call it that way, because I didn't have anything, and I went through her experience doing my thing in the behind the scenes, and now I am creating my own course. I am doing my own thing. I am creating my own quiz funnel for myself with my expertise, which is technology. So that's been, fantastic.
I love that. There's another lesson I'll unpack in that that's if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, I'm not sure what my quiz funnel would be. I'm not sure what business I might create. You can partner with someone. And you can do it in the form of a relationship like you have with your sister. You can also find a client who will pay you to do this for them. So you can get paid to learn this process. And once you've sort of, had your practice run, you've done your quote unquote practice business or practice funnel, you've now developed this skill that you'll have for the rest of your life. So you could do this now that you've had this experience. You've done it in your first sort of practice quiz in the artsy bag market. You've done this now for your sister. You now have this expertise. You could do this in a million different markets. And I think you'll agree with me when you say the first one is the hardest, and then the next one gets easier, and the next one after that just easier and easier and easier. So it's one of these skills that you're able to do it in less time. And you could conceivably, if you wanted, you could make a business out of this if you wanted, doing this for other people. But even if you didn't want to go that route, it just gets easier along the way, and you're building the skill that is something that you'll have with you for the rest of your career.
Funny you say that, because I actually got a client in the insurance industry, and I actually built a quiz funnel for him, and I got paid. So, I have all these things going on now, and it's all based on this methodology, technology, learning, which has been amazing.
So I love this so much, and what I'd love for you to maybe share is you were, we're talking before we got on the call, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're starting to get a little emotional, sharing your story, and I'd love if maybe you could talk a little bit about the results that you've gotten, what you've learned, and both the impact that's had on you personally, and the impact that you think that's going to have on your life, and kind of where things go from here.
Well, I was looking for something new after my previous business failed, or at least fizzled or closed, and I was really feeling sorry about myself because I didn't know what I needed to do in order to, create the third iteration in my life, because I've been an entrepreneur always, and I have businesses that have been very successful, some that have failed, but this was like, now I'm 60 years older and whatever it is, and I mean, I don't think I can retire or want to retire. I need to find something else, because that's how I operate. So this definitely has been the aha moment of this third age, if you want to call it. I wake up every morning excited. I am building quiz funnels left and right. I am creating new things, which I love, doing a lot of research, putting a lot of things together. And so impact in my life, I have to say that huge. I mean, I cannot describe it in words. And if I keep talking about it, you'll get tears from me, because that's how I feel, how this has impacted my life completely. The results have been amazing. I took that free workshop out of the blue, because I don't believe in all that stuff. You get all these marketing emails, and you see all these Facebook ads, and you think to yourself, everybody's trying to sell you something. But I have to say, I'm really, really, really glad that I put all that stuff aside and actually jumped in, and I'm deep all the way, no matter what. So impact, everything. My family loves it, because they don't see me like brooding all day long thinking, what am I going to do? But busy in the computer, working, researching, putting things together. So, it's been amazing.
I love it. So I'll end by asking you one final question, my friend, which is, there are folks who are watching this right now, and I want you to imagine there's someone watching this right now, and that person is in a similar situation to where you were right before you decided to sign up for that workshop. Right? They may be in a similar stage of their life. They may be at a similar age, a similar point in their journey, and they're sitting here and you're saying, "Hey, do I sign up for this thing? Do I not sign up for this thing?" They're on the fence. What would you say to that person who's watching our conversation right here, right now?
That jump, just take the dive, go head in, feet first, because even if you use it, not use it, take advantage of it, or does not take it, don't take advantage of it, this is going to be something, like you said, we'll have this knowledge forever, And if you don't use it for yourself, you can always use it for somebody else. It's going to be amazing. It's wonderful. I have no regrets whatsoever. I would pay 10 times more just now that I know what it is for the same knowledge, better than any college, university, better than anything I have ever invested in my life in terms of education. I love it, and do not think about it twice. Just go ahead, do it. Do it, do it, do it. That's all I can say.
Marvin, I just want to say thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule for being here and sharing your story, and really just been such an inspiration. You know, I oftentimes reflect on my life and think about what my next chapter will look like and what it might look like. And you know, I like to think that when I grow up, I'll be like Marvin, and going on this next adventure. So I'm super grateful for you, my friend, and really appreciate you sharing your story. And looking forward to chatting soon.
Thank you very much, and thank you again. And when I grow up, I hope to be Ryan. That's my dream. And say hi to all your family. Your family is beautiful. Love everybody, and thank you for everything.
Will do. Will do.
Okay.
Awesome. So with that being said here, again, this is Ryan Levesque, and you've heard from really an incredible story from Marvin Leventhal at how he was able to sort of reinvent himself at the age of 61 years old, launch his first online business using the power of a quiz funnel, generated over 30,000 email subscribers, email opt-ins in just a few short months, launching multiple quiz funnels in the artsy bag space, in the space for his sister, doing this for other clients in the insurance space, and just tons of opportunity. And you can probably hear it in his voice, his excitement about what's coming up around the corner. And I think this is just the beginning. So if you've listened to this interview and you've thought, well, I don't know if I can do this. I'm too old. I'm too inexperienced. I don't have a business yet. Hopefully you've been able to see what's possible when you have access to this information and this training. And it all begins with the free quiz funnel workshop. That's something that we do just once a year. And if you're watching this right now, it means that your timing is perfect. The free quiz funnel workshop just happens to be happening like literally right now, right around the corner. So you can join us by going to the link quizfunnelworkshop.com. Simply go to that link, type it in, click on it, visit that link that you see on this page or post, or type the link in yourself, quizfunnelworkshop.com. And through this process, we're going to talk about how to set up a quiz funnel step by step. We're going to talk about the 3 types of quiz funnels and how to decide which one is right for you. We're going to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes people make when it comes to creating a quiz funnel and how to get the type of results that Marvin's gotten by following the process step by step. And we're even going to talk about the technology and the support that you can get access to help make it a heck of a lot easier and faster to get this done for those who are interested in diving deeper. So once again, my name is Ryan Levesque. Thanks so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you inside the free Quiz Funnel Workshop.